Okay, good morning. First off, I'm going to talk about Ryan's baling video. Yep, Ryan from How Farms Works had a, what was that, an 890 XC, which is the cutter model of a baler. That would be the 3x3 baler, Krone's version of the 3x3, like Heston has a 3x3, 3x4, 4x4, just like all the other manufacturers, with the exception of John Deere. They don't have a 4x4 baler, and I don't know that Krone does. They may. But anyway, so I was watching his video, and he was having nodder problems. And I didn't read any of the comments. I just went right to typing in the in the comment section. So what I could see from my seat here in New Jersey and the knowledge that I have of Krone balers, it was very, very simple. His issue was not so much the wiper arm or knife arm as it was the material that had built up under the plunger dog stops. There's little rubber stoppers at the top of the nodder area, and those plunger dogs, when a flake of hay or fodder or whatever goes up into the bale chamber, the plunger will force it back, and then there are these triangular shaped what they call dogs that flip out of the way, and then when the plunger comes back, they come back down and they hold that flake of material in place so that the needles don't collide with any of the material. So it's a very simple concept. They're on little bales, they're little balers, they're on all square balers. They're not on big balers, or on big round balers, but they are on the square balers, and they're no different than they are on the little square balers. The thing with little square balers is they don't have stoppers, rubber stoppers like the Krone does, and I think Krone is the only company that actually has rubber stoppers on theirs, which is good and bad. The good part about them is you don't have that clanking noise that makes it sound like the baler is gonna be falling apart, like the New Holland and the Heston. And the Deere, I don't think Deere has the rubber stoppers either. But the problem is it will leave room for stuff to build up underneath it. And in my experience with these balers, it is a common problem when you're baling damp material that the air compressor, because there's an air compressor on these balers, and it builds up a charge and it blows off for 5 seconds at the beginning and at the end of, or the beginning and end of the bale. So when the baler just before the baler makes a knot, you'll see in Ryan's video and in many of mine that you'll see a puff of air and a whole bunch of stuff goes flying out of there. Now, when you get something hung up in there, a piece of straw or a piece of corn fodder or even hay, that leaves room for another one to stack up behind it, and another one to stack up behind that, and then dust forms in there, especially when it's damp and heavy. It happens more at night, and if you're baling in the wintertime, the valves will actually freeze up because there's moisture from compressed air, and they'll freeze up, and then you won't get any air blowing out of there at all. So if you see when he's messing with the needles, there's a lot of, or the nodders, there's a lot of trash underneath or in that nodder area. And what he would have needed to do, and I know this video that he made is quite old, what he would have needed to do is actually raise up the plunger dogs and sweep out all the stuff that had built up underneath those dogs. You clean that all out of there, get that area nice and clean, so that nothing is there to hang up, and then you're golden. And you can probably bale 50, 60 bales before you want to go back and look at it again and just raise those up. Leave the plunger running back and forth, grab a hold of the little guy, pull up on it, and when the plunger forces the material back, you can actually easily pick those up and then sweep it out from underneath with your hand, and then it's clean. And you don't have to worry about getting your fingers caught in anything, because there's just nothing there that will get you and tear your fingers off, unless, of course, your nodder is ready to trip. And I wouldn't recommend going back there and putting your hand on the nodders while you're messing around back there. But, for the most part, you get that cleaned out. That baler that he was running was fairly new. There was still paint on the compression boards to form the bale. And that generally wears out within the first 12,000 bales. I know this because I've run brand new balers before, and that's what happens, especially in fodder. Fodder picks up a ton of dirt. I mean, it is a mess. If you watch when Hannah is raking, and you can watch the wheel rake just rolling that black dirt right up into that fodder. Now, a lot of it gets knocked off again when the baler comes through. As you can see, when Ryan is baling and flying with the drone, it's wrapping that stuff. It kind of pushes it along, and it is picking it up as well. But you can see a lot of disturbance in the front of the pickup as it's pulling the material into the baler. And I'd say it probably knocks off a third of that dirt as well before it ever gets in there. And it just, it is dirty. It's nasty, and that heavy dirt, soil, dust, whatever you want to call it, ash is what we call it in the mushroom industry. When we're baling mushroom hay and straw and fodder, it's called ash. Even though everywhere else in the world they're going to call it soil or dirt, but it is ash. So all that ash builds up on top of there, and it packs like concrete underneath those little rubber stoppers. And like I said, 50 bales. Check it every 50 bales, 30 to 50 bales. Get back there, just take a look at it. If you're watching your knotters work, and as you're not watching your knotters, if you're watching the air blow off, because you can see that from the cab of the tractor, you just turn your head. You can see there's a sliding bar that is on your computer, and you watch that. When it gets close, just turn your head, look back, and see how much material comes flying out of there. If the material flies out and it kind of goes in an upward projection, like straight up, you can know that it's starting to build up back there, and you need to go clean it out, because it should actually just go pretty well straight back. There is a little ramp on the back of those things, and it will send it out the back, over the bale chamber, and off to the sides, and it'll build up there. But once it's building up in that knotter area, it will actually like curl it straight up and forward. It's just weird. And these are things that I've noticed over the years of running the Krone balers and how they actually work. So if Ryan was to clean that off, he would have had a much more pleasant experience. The knotters on the Krone balers are very, very reliable. I mean, we ran in straw last year, and we were baling between 1,000 and 1,600 bales in a day, some days. And we really did a lot in a short amount of time with very little knotter issues. Now, you can hear William in the background. He's not happy. I think he turned his TV off, and we don't like the idiot box too much, but he's watching Disney, and he likes to see Mickey Mouse, which is, in my opinion, probably the more wholesome TV shows for him to be watching. So, anyways, we would run all this time because the straw was dry and it was blowing out of there just good, really good. Wiper arms with the knives on them. The knives will get dull, and if you've seen any of my videos, you'll know that the knives get dull. Wiper arms will lift away from the bill hook, and they should just touch it. They shouldn't be, they have to just touch it. There shouldn't be hardly any resistance there, maybe 2 to 3 pounds of resistance. That's it. If you have any more than that, it's going to screw up your timing, and it's going to hang on the bill hooks. So nighttime is when you generally have some more issues with knotters, when the dew sets on, than you will in the daytime. And that's just the nature of the beast. These balers have come a long way since the beginnings of the big square baling industry, since it started. And my wife is here thinking that I'm going to catch her naked, but she doesn't realize that I've got balers in front of it so she can walk past without any goddamn trouble. Move your ass. You're annoying me. How's that sound? So, with my language right there, I'm going to go to the comment section, because we just love the comment section on my videos. But I was actually quite intrigued by the comment section in Ryan's video. So, I've heard, I start reading it, and I got pretty thick skin, but, I hear that, One Lonely Farmer's a whiner, and One Lonely Farmer, fuck OLF is another one, and even one guy said that if I had to spend a day with OLF, one of us would be murdered. So, I don't go to other people's channels and start typing shit like that, because, that's just a cowardice way of doing it. I can guarantee you all of these people that have commented there would never say that to my face. And the guy that said that if he had to spend a day with me, one of us would be murdered, that man probably couldn't walk a half a day in my shoes, or even put them on for that matter. And that's just what they're about. They go to other channels, and Ryan never even mentioned my name. Other YouTubers had mentioned my name, and of course that's the crap that we get. And what the heck was this other guy's name? Oh, he says, oh, OLF is a jerk. Okay, I can be a jerk, you're right. I'm usually a jerk when there's jerks about, because I don't take crap from jerks. So that's why you're getting this segment of this video. It would be a lot better if you could just see my wife in the background running on a treadmill making all kinds of millions of noises, which I should just go unplug it and make her upset. Now you're going on. You're gonna be on. You came up here to disturb me. You're getting it now, woman. Go ahead and curse in Tagalog. I don't care. So, anyways, this was just meant to help Ryan out a little bit next time he goes and gets a Krone baler. Oh, and one more thing with the knotters. On those top strings, when you rethread the knotter, you don't have to tie off the twine to anything. What you do is you run it through the rollers, and get it down through the rollers, through the tucker arms, pull it back, and then stuff it down into the bale chamber. The next flake of hay will come up, grab that string, and it will pull it down, and it will make a successful knot just like it should. So I hope you enjoyed watching the me clean off the balers in North Carolina, and now you're going to see my wife running for just a couple seconds, and I'm going to sign off and say sayonara, see you tomorrow, have a nice